I had a different topic in mind for the show, but obviously with everything going on, I just kind of wanted to just check in with you guys and kind of give my thoughts on what was going on and what happened last night, where I was, and I don't know, my perspective, and then we'll kind of just joke and shoot the crap as we're going on here. My roof is being redone, and I just got home because I had breakfast with my dad and my older brother. So the dogs are gonna be a little bit crazy. And then, my the family plumber and all around contractor is out working on the roof. So, hopefully you guys don't hear too much noise. But if you do, then I'm sorry. Hopefully the noise filter from StreamYard will get everything out. Actually, let me make sure that stuff's on. But one more time, just hope everybody's having a good weekend. Had a good weekend. Is gonna have a good week. And good morning to my brother Jack Napier in the chat there. I don't have coffee because I just finished pounding a ton of coffee when I was at the restaurant. But if I drink any more, I'm going to have to stop midstream to go take a piss, and I'd rather not interrupt the show. So, yeah, I wanted to title the show with an earshot because what happened last night. It's the memes have been pretty good, and it's definitely something a little bit more entertaining. So, I guess without further ado, make sure you hit all the links below to figure out what I got going on. Tucker Fitness through the link below. They just had their 4th of July sale a week or two ago, so I got lots of points there. They always got good sales, and as always, great supplements that I use every single day. I use their Ruckus and Vasky pre-workout this morning. Feeling a little fatigued from my current program, and because life has gotten in the way quite a bit, but I still hit my training session. So make sure you go over to there to get some badass supplements, the supplements that I use and take every single day. And also go to foxandsonscoffee.com, which brings you these wonderful podcasts every other Sunday, except for last Sunday because Rock for Life and the Hinder Show. Got the Brazil honey prep right here. Got tons downstairs as well. Absolutely fantastic coffee. Use code Kyle at checkout to let Steven know that I sent you. And let's get into it, guys. And one more time, good morning, everybody. We are within earshot of living in a different country. I can't help it. I can't help it. I threw out the joke that Donald Trump should make Evander Holyfield his VP because because the ear situation may not be doing too well for either one of them, but they'd make a hell of a duo. I don't even know anything about Evander Holyfield other than the fact that Mike Tyson bit his ear off. But yeah, how about that news yesterday? That was definitely something. uh my wife and I were going up to actually somewhere that was pretty close to where it happened. Um Probably not even a half hour away. I want to say probably like 20 minutes. Uh Her coworkers' parents were getting rid of some weight equipment, and I'm trying to like build up the most awesome home gym ever. And they were looking to get rid of it, and they reached out to my wife first because I guess these two coworkers. I don't. I'm not even sure I ever met them, but my wife talks about me to her coworkers, and they had known that I'm big into lifting, so they had kind of said that, hey, maybe Sarah and her husband may want that. So we went up, picked it up, and I remember we were kind of taking stuff apart to fit in the back of the truck that we had. And the mother said, "Oh my God, they just shot Trump." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, they just shot Trump." So it was interesting. And then we kind of found out that he was all right. And then obviously all the videos came out of the Secret Services pressing down on him, making sure he was all right. And then Trump went up and raised his fist up in the air. I gotta say, dude, it's pretty freaking awesome. I gotta throw it to Trump. That's pretty damn good optics to get shot at and then come up and just say fight like hell. I mean, let me see if I can find the picture. If you type in Donald Trump into Google right now, that's all you're going to hear about. But actually, yeah, this assassination attempt was only a half hour away from me. I mean, I've been to where that was. I mean, I know exactly where this was, which is kind of freaky because you would never like any historical event, you never really expect it to be that close to you. So yeah, this is the picture for those listening. Hey, how StreamYard defaults to that. Yeah, so this is the picture of oh, come on. Just show me the freaking picture. Here we go. Let me open image in new tab. There we go. No, okay, I'm sorry. There we go. Okay. Um the bullets seem to have grazed his ear and he is okay. I want to say thankfully, but no, I hate all these politicians, including Trump. But so where this was up at the Butler Fairgrounds, which funny enough, they just had the big Butler Festival like last week. So there was thousands and thousands of people there, if not tens of thousands of people there. And it's literally in this field in the middle of nowhere. Like when you're coming up to it, there's like nothing. There's like a gas station on the one side, like right before you get there. There's normally, I think they normally have like Jeeps or something, because there might be like an automotive or a customization shop or something up there. That's right before that on the right. Like I just know every single time I've driven up there, there's always like some actually pretty badass looking Jeeps over to the right. And there's like buildings across from it, but then like the whole Butler Fairgrounds is this enormous fenced in area that is just acres and acres and acres and acres. Like when you go to the big Butler Festival, you could spend a whole day just walking around and seeing all the stuff because they have like a stage. Um, there's lots of like hills and stuff where they have everything set up. I think when A Common Crown opened for Lita Ford, back 2 years ago. I don't remember if that was at the Butler Fairgrounds, but it's just a very, very big area once again in the middle of nowhere. I mean, this is kind of like the good old boys area where there's like kind of a couple different areas of Butler. So there's like the meth head area of Butler, which kind of like the town area where I'm somewhat familiar with. We've a Common Crown's played up there a little bit. Where there's a Lindora Hotel that I've played at a bunch of times. Trying to think of some of the other places that we've played at. There's a baseball field there, and then like the radio station's right up the road from there. Gas station's real, actually kind of like a nice little small town, but it's kind of like where the crackheads hang out and where like the poors of Butler are. And then once you get out of there, there's just people have big money because I mean we're talking about like beautiful acreage and where I would love to live, but that's like an hour and a half away from where I work and there's no way I'd be able to afford a house that way, as nice as it would be. Um, but yeah, specifically this where the big Butler Fair normally is in the Butler Fairgrounds. It's literally out in the middle of nowhere, and I think I know the exact building where the sniper got on top of. And it's when I'm thinking about it, if I'm thinking of the right building, um, he would have been pretty far away, and it still kind of surprises me that no one kind of saw this, no one cleared it. I think there's something more going on here, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I have my own theories. I don't. Nobody's gonna know. Nobody knows. Is it possible that the CIA was involved? I don't freaking know. But let me. I'll pull up some of my tweets. um, yeah, it's people are all kind of spinning their wheels about it, but it was I the Hodge twins tweeted out, and you know I'll pull up this tweet. Let me get to it. I got a little follower bump for talking shit about Tim Pool, which is kind of like my bread and butter there. Let me go to here. The Hodge twins said, barely slept last night. Anybody else? And I just said, you were incredibly gay if you're worried about any politician this much. I mean, I don't know how people still maintain this illusion that Trump's going to go in there and drain the swamp this time when he had 4 years to do it beforehand and just didn't. Orrin McIntyre always says, you know, God, give me the Trump that the left fears. And I agree with that. If he was anywhere near as base as the left makes him out to be, he would have my full throated support, but he's not. And that's why he doesn't. And Biden came out and supposedly, or I think I heard whatever the message he put out over the radio, and he said something like, "Oh, I condemn all political violence, and I'm glad Trump's okay, and I'm going to try to talk with him as soon as possible." Part of me kind of wishes Biden would have just said, "Oh, I'm sorry that he lived," because everybody listening to this right now knows if the counterfactual, if Biden got shot at, Trump would make a joke. And I can't help but think of how funny that would be, and people would lose their minds. Somewhat rightfully so. But my God, would it be fucking funny to just see the absolute meltdown of Trump saying something about Biden getting shot. That to me would just be the funniest thing in the world. Um, yeah, so seeing people's reactions to this has been interesting. I have a lot of personal friends who were there. My buddy who's been on the show twice before, back when I first started, Shane Cheshire. Um, I'm thinking we're probably going to do a show tonight on it. Really curious his thoughts, and I am friends now with the guy who actually spoke right before Trump. He's the head of the Republican committee in Beaver County, which is very very close to Butler County. I think they're like neighboring counties. So maybe I'll reach out to him and see if he wants to jump in on the stream too. But it's kind of funny because more people actually died yesterday or in critical condition yesterday than were on January 6th. But you're never going to hear about this insurrection or how bad this was. And this isn't a threat to our democracy. This is, Trump helped incite this. And um, people were talking about, apparently some of the people who were at the rally were telling the press this is your fault. And like, regardless if it is or isn't, it's pretty fucking funny. And you can't help but say like, all right, well, you guys laid the dry tinder for this, and now you're surprised that Trump supporters are acting shitty towards you when you've called them threats to democracy, deplorables, and every single name in the book over the last couple years, and now you're surprised that they're giving you shit back. I mean, how could you? Come on. King Trust Issues. Good morning, brother. I hope you're doing well. And people say it's staged, apparently. It's possible. I don't know for sure. Trump's already beating Biden in a lot of the polls, but my theory on this is not this specific thing, but like overall, I do believe that the deep state, as much as people talk about that and think they're so opposed to Trump, Trump really worked hand in hand with the deep state in a lot of respects. The one thing that comes to mind was the CIA plot that, and I should do a full podcast on this. I've been trying to do it. I've been busy, but there was a covert campaign that Trump launched with the CIA back in 2019 to specifically put out propaganda against China. So people, I'm honestly kind of leaning towards this person was probably a loose fucking nut, and he wanted to, shoot Trump because he thought that he was a threat to democracy and all this. Like, listen, if Trump was a threat to democracy, then once again, he would have my full support, but he's not. He still believes in democracy. He still believes in this whole system of governance that we have that basically is just managing our pain and the collapse of the global homo empire that we live in right now. I really wish that Trump would follow through on the things that he says, because if he did, then I would like him a lot more. He sure as hell had a Reddit account. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, the dude did seem like a Redditor. I saw that video where he said something about, I hate Trump and I hate Republicans, and that conveniently kind of comes up after all this. I I don't know. I think it's highly likely that this dude was a loose fucking cannon. Um, it's so tough to say because we still don't have all the facts. People are saying, "Oh, well, he was a Republican." It's really bad. I mean, because anybody that could be convinced to go after the former president, or anybody that would do it, was either handsomely paid or they are just a loose cannon. I don't know. Nobody knows. There's no real way to know. And even like if there is a full-on FBI investigation into this shit, we're never going to get a real answer. Let's be honest. We will never know the full truth of this. Okay, David Jacobs. What's up, man? I hope you're doing well. Pennsylvania State Police, Butler PD, Secret Service, how do y'all leave an elevated position, direct line of sight, 130 yards away from the subject? You're tasked to protect the man by law enforcement anyone with any tactical experience should be asking this question. By the way, what happened to your beard? I had to get rid of it, man. It was too much. Every time I turned my head, I could feel it shaking in the wind. I had to get rid of it. So, David, I hope you're doing well, brother. And I've been seeing your videos come up on Facebook, you playing and everything. And yeah, dude, shit sounds awesome. Um, yeah, but that's the thing is that yeah, I have a hard time believing something wasn't there wasn't some mishandling because the Secret Services and everybody was already there. And uh, if you're in a wide open area like that, you think they would assess the threats to this. I'm totally going to lean into the fact that there were female Services guards. We could totally blame the women for this because let's be honest, women shouldn't be Secret Services agents. I mean, that's going to piss off a lot of people, but if I were to full on charge a female Secret Service agent, I'm knocking them over. They have no chance. Now, granted, they're probably gonna have a lot more training than me, and they're gonna know what they're doing a lot more than me. But the force equilibrium is not there. I am outpowering any female Secret Service agent 10 times out of 10. But yeah, to your point, David, it's really strange that they left that area unmarked. Siege D. Good to see you, brother. Good morning, Kyle and Jack, stopping by from Glenn Lawrence's live stream. We miss you guys. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. I hope you're doing well. I hope Glenn's doing well as well. I appreciate the super chat, man. And I haven't played this in a while, so for that super chat, you get
Welcome Punch.
One more time. Thank you so much for your support, Siege. Whammon, am I right? Exactly. Can't trust him to do a goddamn thing. Let me play an ad real quick and we'll get right back into it. All right, guys, we are going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the show's sponsor. We are now brought to you by Fox & Sons Coffees. You can see right here, I got the Den Blend Dark. Really enjoy that. I've been drinking a lot of their Brazil Honey Prep. Right here, as you can hear, there's not a lot of beans left in it because I've been drinking it quite a bit. Just to tell you a little bit about Fox & Sons, why I support them and why you should too, is that Steven had started the company up in Michigan to help teach his son about entrepreneurship. I'm all about that, and I do firmly believe that in order to spread liberty in our lifetimes, we have to support those who support similar values as us. And Steven does support all the same libertarian values that I bring and talk about on the show a lot. So go to foxandsons.com, use code Kyle at checkout to get 15% off of orders $25 or more, and there's always free shipping whenever you place an order that is more than $37.99. Find their coffee absolutely fantastic, and I'm sure you will too. So one more time, go to foxandsons.com, use code Kyle at checkout to get yourself a little discount. Let them know I sent you, and support the coffee that supports you. All right, guys, thanks. Back to the show. I'm thankful you guys aren't pussies about it because I'm kind of making a joke at a assassination attempt with the Within Earshot. So I expected to get a little bit of shit about that, but I mean, I don't really give a shit if you would either way. But I don't know. I've been kind of out of politics a little bit. I just have not really cared because until this, the political landscape has been so predictable. Every single time Biden does something, everyone's going to blame it on Biden. They're blaming him for inflation, which he is responsible for to a very, very large degree, especially spending so much time in the government. But you can't leave out the fact that Trump printed more money than Obama in 4 years than Obama did in 8 years, and then handed everybody free cash. And once again, Biden did the same thing in his first couple months in office. But where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, basically everybody has their predetermined talking points, and no one looks at this from a 50,000 point view. 50,000 foot view. Everybody's going to pack their bias in and explain things the way that their right-wing media tells them to, or their left-wing media tells them to. I mean, it is kind of surprising to see them kind of turn on Biden, but I mean, how long can you have a corpse up there that can hardly speak? Until you finally realize he's not doing too hot. Like we can't keep propping this guy up forever. So everybody's saying that they're going to replace him. I still don't think so. I think Democrats, if they were going to switch Biden out, they would have been propping somebody else up already. They kind of have been working at it a little bit. It's a little late in the game to throw somebody in there. That's a pretty big wild card, even for the Democrats. Is it possible? Sure, but I think it's pretty low likelihood. I think they're just banking on being not Trump. That's what Democrats have done ever since Trump kind of came into office. And this is something that right wingers often miss is that Trump tends to embolden the very worst people on the left, which I, I told the people that were getting the gym equipment off yesterday, I hate all these politicians right now, but I hate Trump the least because at least Trump's funny, he's charismatic, and the best people in this country, at least the people that I love dearly, they feel represented and he makes them feel good. That matters to me actually a lot. So like that picture of him that I showed earlier of him with his fist up in the air, seeing all those people cheer, I'm smiling just thinking about it because it does make me happy because I know these are the people, or the people that mean the most to me, that I consider my friends and family, felt united in that moment, if you will. And I come from the blue collar background, so I understand why they like Trump so much. I really do. I just wish they would have the 50,000 foot view of understanding the full picture and how he sells them progressive values and progressive solutions under the guise of being right wing, which is just the most frustrating thing in the world for me. Um, no snowflakes here from my point of view. Jen, I can't believe that in this country these are two candidates. Yeah, and like that's kind of what upsets me the most is that we live in a country that is the most prosperous country in the entire world. People talk about China all the time, and they're gonna take over the world, but that's absolutely ridiculous. It's so silly. I can't even break it down for you. There's a really good book that I've mentioned like a million times, but Pete Quinones had kind of mentioned it when he was on Timcast, and it's called Unrivaled. It's by a think tanker guy named Michael Beckley, who even leans into Russiagate, which everybody knows is bullshit. I mean, if you're still clinging on to Russiagate at this point, there's no hope for you. You're done. But Michael Beckley wrote a book called Unrivaled, and basically he kind of went through point by point by point um, how China's economic situation is much, 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 much worse than we even know. And he's taking their numbers at face value, which evidently are largely pumped up. So we're going to remain the sole superpower in the world for a very, very long time. China and Russia are still very, very weak. Very, very poor countries. And on top of that, we're a much more stable country and we're much, much more productive. So China's a very large population, but they have to use a lot of GDP to maintain everything that they have. And they're very, very inefficient in that GDP as well. Because in order to have a population of 1 billion people, you need a lot of resources. Well, here we're very productive where we're not really worried about that, right? But we are the most productive, stable country in the entire world, as shocking as that is. I think that's changing, but I don't think it's going to change as much as people, the fear porn sellers are trying to tell you to think. But we don't have anybody better than however the fuck old Biden is, 81 or something like that, or Donald Trump. I mean, I've said it before, and I have no problem saying that Trump's better than Biden, but not enough for me to go out and support him. We don't have anybody else better out there. Like nobody's like, you know what? I could give a crack at this. But I mean, once again, you look at what happened to Ron Paul in 2008 and 2012. He got blacked out of the media, but that's because he's a real person. I mean, I can't help but look at the situation with Trump and think that there's more going on, and not just like this recent event, but I'm talking about back in 2016, because, the Pied Piper strategy where Hillary Clinton wanted to make sure that Trump got propped up because she felt she could beat him. Now, the question there is, was that intentional because Hillary Clinton is so unlikable? I refuse to believe that our government is that stupid that they don't see everything that's going on, the lawfare, how they treated Trump, and just see how every single time they do something, it backfires. I refuse to believe that they don't see that and think, oh, maybe we should try something else. I refuse to believe that. And I don't believe that the people that run our society are that fucking stupid. I do believe that a lot of people in the Democratic Party are that stupid to still prop up Joe Biden, or at least a lot of like the Democratic base may be that stupid. And even some of the Republican base is that dumb too. I mean, Jesus Christ, they won't be able to connect the fact that that Trump gave us, what was it, $1,800 just magically out of thin air, and then all the inflation came, and they say it's just because Biden got elected. No, it's because we've been fucking printing money like it's going out of style for the last 20 years. And we've had record low interest rates for decades now at this point. And then, oh, surprise, surprise, when you go from $5 trillion in debt all the way up to $30 trillion in debt over the course of 20 years, you made inflation. Surprise, surprise. But people don't think holistically about the way that things happen. So, like, even when it comes to the Ukraine stuff, I covered this with Brad a couple months ago when we talked about the Trump Biden Ukraine aid bill, where Trump and Biden essentially worked together to pass the Ukraine aid bill. And all the Republicans, of course, said, oh, this is Mike Johnson. He's a rhino and he forced this bill through. But then he did it with Trump's full support. Come on. Like, people refuse to kind of step out. And it's because we are tribal by nature, right? Um, People instantly associate themselves with either the right or the left. And like me, I associate myself more with libertarians and obviously those red pill guys, Jack. Money printer go burr. I associate myself with somebody like Jack because Jack likes to lift stuff and then likes to look at, life through the red pill praxeology and understand, kind of like people's psychological nature and how men and women interact. So I identify more with somebody like him, right? Excited. Yeah, evil red pill guys. Evil red pill guys. Yes. Uh, this Friday's going to get wild, boys. Yeah, absolutely. I don't. I'm. I don't know what the Biden move's going to be, and it's interesting because, like I said earlier, I would have loved if this would have been the other way around and Biden would have got shot at. And how do I want to phrase this? Because I'm probably gonna get banned off YouTube if I say this, but I don't feel bad for politicians, right? Because once again, they are put in there to make our lives worse and expand the empire, expand the government, and all that kind of stuff, right? Oh, good morning, CRX. I hope you're doing well, man. Good morning. Um, Biden move. Yeah. Dude, hospice bed. Yeah, he does. It is more than time for him to step down. But the whole Biden thing, it's funny, and Steggs, I know you're gonna disagree with me on this, and that's okay. But people are like, oh, he's bought off by China. No, Biden is bought off, or it is all about the Biden empire. There's a reason why they call it the Biden crime family. It's whoever gives him money. He will do anything. Dave Smith said this, and he's absolutely right, is that he's a credit card company's guy. He will do anything to expand the Biden empire. That's why he stayed in government for so long. Now granted, he probably made a lot of compromises on the way, but I don't think he cares about that. I don't think his family gives a shit about that. He's there to make whatever money he can from everywhere, every opportunity that he can. And, there's something very Machiavellian about it. And like Trump was pretty Machiavellian in the regards that he would say, very, very bold things. But once again, Biden took money from Israel, Ukraine, China, Taiwan, every single banking cartel. I mean, anything that would give the government more power and ultimately him more power, he went for it. It's not about one specific country or anything like that. It's just about whatever influence Biden can get. And that's who he is. I mean, he is the epitome of everything that's wrong with the fucking government and the country. So like you have like this dichotomy, right? Where like Thomas Massey is like the GOAT. I don't think there's anybody that dislikes Thomas Massey other than people who are on this other side of the spectrum of Joe Biden, right? Where Joe Biden will do anything to maintain power, empire, everything that America stands for today, which is the global empire. More money, more power, fuck the working class, fuck the average person, whatever I can do to get mine, fuck the rest of you. That's the Joe Biden motto. Then you have someone like Thomas Massey, who legitimately is concerned with the people. It doesn't matter who's in charge. Thomas Massey knows he's going to go back to Kentucky and he has to answer to his district, and his district loves him for it. And that's the same way Ron Paul was. Rand Paul isn't quite as good as the other two because he's like, we need an Iron Dome for Israel. No, fuck that. Thomas Massey has voted down all the bills to, send money over to foreign countries. And then he has become the enemy of Israel just because he's not even anti-Israel. He's said that plenty of times. He's like, yeah, I think Israel has the right to defend itself and Israel has the right to exist. I even disagree with that position, but I think it's reasonable to say, hey, Israel's the right to exist or whatever. Once again, this isn't the time to debate that, but he is legitimately America first. And it's funny to see Roger Stone. I had a tweet that went pretty good. I I think it was Dave Smith said something to Roger Stone because Roger Stone was tweaking about Thomas Massey, and he said, "Oh, he's not more America first than Donald Trump." Look, Trump took all his money from Big Pharma, and he's all about doing everything he can for Israel, and he's all about sending money to Taiwan, and at this point, he's even for sending money to Ukraine. So, um, I, once again, you just have the spectrum of Thomas Massey, Joe Biden. Trump is closer to Joe Biden than he is to Thomas Massey. Let's be honest. Um, and like some of Trump's lackeys, some of the people that came up underneath him are actually much closer to Thomas Massey than they are to Joe Biden, which is good. I'm not. I would never deny that. Like someone like Matt Gaetz, even Marjorie Taylor Greene, even though ever since October 7th she's really fallen off. Lauren Boebert, same deal, kind of fell off. But that's. I think that's why people love Thomas Massey so much because he's no bullshit. Let me get through some of these comments. The Republic will be reorganized into the First American Empire. Yeah, I'm with you on this. Power and access to fresh children. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like where we're at, is that Joe Biden does epitomize everything that's wrong with our government today. Access to money, access to power, fuck everybody else, loot the treasury while the empire burns around you, and then throw out platitudes about how you care about the working class and you care about women's rights, which women's rights is like the biggest bullshit ever. Women's rights, generally, what that means is your ability to have an abortion, which in my opinion is ending a life. It's fucked up, but that's the culture that we live in now, is that reproductive health, which, like, how is having an abortion considered health? And they always try to use the fringe cases to justify the whole thing, right? It's like not a collective punishment almost, except for it kind of like works in a different way. I don't know what the right word for it would be, but basically, because you have these fringe cases, which actually I do think should be allowed. This is just my opinion, and people disagree with me on this all the time, but I am pro-life. I don't believe that you should be able to kill a fetus because I'm actually pro-abortions, but not for the right to choice reason. I'm pro-life because I believe that we are responsible for our actions, and if you voluntarily choose to sleep with somebody, then there isn't a single adult alive who doesn't know what the potential consequence of that is. You accept those consequences when you choose to sleep with somebody, so therefore I don't think you have the right to kill somebody because you didn't want to accept the consequence of your actions. Now, if you did not consent, then we're in a little bit of a gray area, and I don't think you should have to carry that life to term because that was not your choice. People aren't going to like that, but that's just my opinion. It's not necessarily an exception I love, but I think that's reasonable. As far as incest and life of the mother, I do believe that for the life of the mother, the life of the mother, because the life has already been established, then I think it's only fair that, unfortunately, if you have to pick one, then the person who is viable should live versus the person who can't. And Jack, I know you're gonna yell at me for saying should. Pretty sure they don't care, just to get those female votes. Yeah, exactly. And good morning, Conroy. I hope you're doing well, friend. But that's really what it is abortion is basically just the way for Democrats to get people to the voting booth, is that if you tell women that their bodily autonomy is on the ballot, then of course they're going to come out in droves to go vote for Democrats. And that's why Trump taking the moderate position on abortion is politically smart, but in my opinion, like culturally and morally wrong. I hate to say this, and people don't like it when I say this, but like, I think if you limit to first term abortions, you're going to save the greatest amount of lives. But I think that's like the reasonable compromise that you can get everybody on board with, because we're not banning abortion. That's never going to happen. At least not in today's world. You're just not going to get people to agree with that. As much as I would love it if people did, you're not going to get that to happen. We've given people that for so long, and it's become such a dividing and polarizing topic that you're just not going to get people to budge one way or the other. So I think if you limit the first term, then you can save the most amount of lives. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to happen. Yeah, I didn't really have too much of a plan for this show. I just kind of wanted to come on and check in with everybody and kind of get everybody's thoughts of what happened because it is kind of crazy. We got a decent bit of everybody watching. If you have your coffee, cheers. Like I said, I drank all mine. I'll raise my guitar pedal for all you guys. Good morning and all that good stuff. Maybe I should just talk about a Common Crown a little bit. This past Thursday, we opened for Drowning Pool, which was really, really cool. Um, had an absolute blast, and it was Dematis who signed to Devil Inside Records, which is the record company that signs a Common Crown as well. So Dematis, a Common Crown, then this band Moon Fever from Washington the state. They were fucking awesome. My god, they put on an awesome show live. Band is really good. Did the bodies hit the floor? After Moon Fever, it was A Killer's Confession, who is the band. The original singer from Mushroomhead sings for that band, and I like their music, but they had like so many backing tracks and lip syncing that it really kind of like ruined the live experience for me. I think it's so lame to have backing tracks and stuff like that. Um, if you listen to a Common Crown or you come see us live, which you guys should totally do that. Our next show is August 2nd or 3rd. It's the first Saturday in August. We're opening up for Flaw. It's going to be us and our friends in Drown the Deep. They're awesome. But anyways, we're playing then, but we kind of pride ourselves um we pride ourselves on me and Matt, the drummer, being the backing vocals, and it's made me a much better singer. I mean, I'm not a good singer, but being able to sing behind Jen has taught me how to sing a lot. But we pride ourselves on being backup vocalists. So, anyways, yeah. After A Killer's Confession, then Drowning Pool went on. I only stuck around for a few songs. They have the current singer of Soil as their singer again. He sang for them from I think it was like 2004 until like 2012 or 11, something like that. They got some other guy who actually was pretty good. They put 2 or 3 albums out, and I liked those albums. There was that song Hell to Pay, Step Up. When they just put out an album like 2 years ago. All of them were like good, but they weren't or they weren't like anything that I would go back and listen to day in, day out. But you know, I would turn them on and enjoy it. David, good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Abortion should be a choice to an extent. Rape victims, non-consensual sex, that impregnated woman, that is when you should have the choice. If you willingly had intercourse with someone and got pregnant, you knew the potential outcome and now have a responsibility. Yeah, that's my position exactly. Good morning, brother man. Yes, I hope Matt, Alice, and a Common Crown can play sometime together. I would absolutely love to. We'll have to set something up. My thoughts, sanity trumps all. Yeah, well, tell me how common sanity is in the world we live in today. But yeah, I put out a tweet. I just haven't really paid attention to politics too much because things are going very, very well for a Common Crown. We got a whole bunch of new material that's just constantly chugging along. And if I have any friends that are listening right now that are down in the Orlando area or Titusville, Florida area, we're going to be down there this weekend. Let me make sure I got this date right. The 20th. I'll post it on Twitter and Facebook, but Jen and Steve, the singer and bass player of a Common Crown, are hosting an open mic night. I think it's called the Cold Spot down in Orlando or in Titusville. I'll be down there. I think Brandon and his wife are going to be down there as well. So pretty much everybody but Matt and his wife from a Common Crown are going to be down in Florida. So if anybody listening out there is down in Florida, come hang out with us. Let's have some drinks and stuff like that. Congratulations on the success with the band. Thank you. Yeah. We'll be down there playing. And then obviously I talked about it a little bit on the couple shows ago, the Rock for Life show where, we opened up for Hinder and then did the Rock for Life show. It's just been absolutely incredible. The responses have been overwhelmingly positive. We literally signed CDs and took pictures for like an hour after we opened up for Hinder. And I mean, that was just like jarring to me. I never knew that people would be like that into a local band. So, I appreciate it. I think I'll kind of call it there. Excuse me. Everybody make sure you go over to Jack Napier Knows channel. If I knew how to make Jack a mod or, give him the ability to drop links in the chat, I would do that. But my man right here, Jack Napier, we will be doing post 0 on the narcissistic fantasy. There will be no politics. So if you're looking for politics, it's not going to be there. Thank fucking God. Like I said, I had a different topic in mind, but I figured this is relevant, so I might as well just kind of talk to you guys about it and give my thoughts. But yeah, we're going to talk about the narcissistic fantasy, the idea where a lot of like traditionally minded guys, left my comment are three dots. You can make me a mod. I don't know if I have all that shit turned on. Yeah, I only have delete comment, put user in timeout, and ban user and delete their comments, and I don't want to do that. Maybe we'll have to talk about it before the show. But yeah, go over to Jack Napier Knows channel. If you go into the community tab, if you're watching on YouTube, I shared his channel and the previous videos. Make sure you go check that out. It's going to be me and a bunch of other good guys. Nuke, who's been on the channel, Jack's been on the channel, and the Gov, a few other people, ban me daddy. But yeah, we're going to talk about kind of like this narcissistic fantasy, basically the idea that a lot of guys kind of, when they meet a girl, they have all these ideas of how their trad life is going to go. And generally, I think that's like an unhealthy thing because it creates this idea in their head that generally doesn't serve them and is going to lead them to disappointment in their life, relationships, and overall prosperity. And as we talk a lot about in the whole red pill manosphere space, we're looking to improve men's lives or give them the tool to improve their lives. And if you go into a relationship with the mindset that it's going to be perfect at all times and that every single woman just can't wait to be barefoot and pregnant in the home, you're going to be disappointed. And it's probably not optimal to set yourself up for disappointment. But I won't rant and rave anymore on that. If you guys are all good, I'm all good. Go to acommoncrown.com to check out the band. Like I said, we only got one show coming up. I think there may be another one that we're going to get into. We haven't been confirmed yet, but we're mostly just working on new music, and next year is going to be awesome. I've been saying it a whole ton, but yes, next year for a Common Crown, look the fuck out because it's going to be a fucking ride, and I can't wait for it. acommoncrown.com, post zero on Jack Napier's channel. Monday nights, 5 till midnight with me, Typo, Luke, Adam Nutter, and Sam Urban. I'm sure tomorrow night's show is going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to have some good laughs at that. Cognitive Vigilance this week, Thursday night. I believe it's going to be me, Brandy, Ben, and Ryan. Wednesday night, I have Misty Winston coming on, and we'll probably talk a little bit about the Trump situation, but mostly it's going to be about Julian Assange and the history of Julian Assange, because I know a little bit, enough to kind of get me through, but she's like the person for that, her and like Kevin Gustola. So we're going to be covering that Wednesday. I think that's it for me. Oh yeah, obviously, I'll be down in Florida. So if I have any listeners that are down in Florida and you want to come meet me, hang out, have a drink or something like that, hit me up. And I think I'll wrap there. So thank you everybody so much for listening. Until coffee and whiskey in the morning. Billy, I'm glad you could catch the end. Good morning, brother. I will wrap her there. Thank you so much everybody for listening. Go to Post Zero to check me out with Jack and the boys. And until next time.